What happens when the goddess of money, love, goodness, kindness, and all things that we really want in life, what we desire, heads into retrograde motion? We get to go back and reassess our deepest values, deepest desires, but love from the past, money from the past, and good things from the past suddenly appear in the present as well. So, we're going to talk about Venus heading backwards in the sky from our vantage point on Earth in a way she hasn't done since 2017, and before that, 2009, and keep going back every 8 years. Yes, this is Venus retrograding from the sign of Aries, where on March the 1st, she begins to backpedal. And she continues to backpedal in retrograde motion to April the 12th. And so those 6 weeks are critically important. You haven't seen this energy in your sky since this time in 2017, the same zone of time, February, March, and April of 2017. And in many ways, you'll be able to compare your life. It is always different. The sky is a mandala. Think of it like when you turn the dial on a kaleidoscope. Those little pieces of plastic are always going to configure in a different way, or glass, depending on what kaleidoscope you're using. And that to me is what the sky is. It's a kaleidoscope. It changes its configurations. Now we have Pluto in Aquarius. We have Neptune in the sign of Pisces with the North Node, and Saturn, a kind of energy in the sky that goes back to the late mid to 1800s, 1850s, 1858. So you can't really compare the sky. This is not exactly like it was in 2017. We're going to talk about also today in this video, which is for you, this is not world astrology, about how this Venus story is going to activate Pluto. Pluto in Aquarius will be in a flowing, beautiful sextile, a positive aspect to Venus that we haven't seen in our lifetimes. You have to go back 248 years to have found this combination of energies. So how Pluto in Aquarius informs this Venus retrograde, and more than the retrograde, what we call the Venus conjunction with the sun, also known as a star point, has a very technical term, I think, coined by Ariel Gutman, but it means that Venus is meeting with the sun in the sign of Aries. This is going to happen on March 22nd at 2 Aries. At the same time, there is a flow from Pluto, power, riches, wealth, deep discovery, the power of love, the cathartic and regenerating forces of love and money and desire and values. So much going on in the sky. It's so exciting to be alive, to see what we're experiencing. Finally, last thing I'm going to tell you before we dive into your sign, there, and I'll show you the sky, there is this idea here of liberation. In fact, I created a course called Liberate, the Venus retrograde course. If you want to jump in with me and take the class, it's still on the early bird discount notice through till the 22nd of February. The class starts March 1st. It's live with me in a weekly call on Zoom. 3 Q&As over the course of the 6 weeks, a fun collage party, some guided meditations, and just gathering together, even a private Facebook community with like-minded astrologically curious folk, and taking this Venus retrograde journey step by step as we go each week in the class, a little bit into what's up ahead, where those minor asteroids are. And my specialty, guys, is minor asteroids. So we got some crazy asteroids like Isis involved, the Nile River goddess, and a huge amount of excitement follows, domino effects and change. Some of the minor asteroids involved during her retrograde are absolutely amazingly interesting, powerful, and perhaps the devil in the details, life-changing. Okay, so let's get rolling. If you like this kind of content, please hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. We're all going to live through a Venus retrograde together. Let's see what happens. Who's most impacted? Everybody. But who's most impacted by Venus retrograding at any point are Libra and Taurus, sun, moon, and rising people, especially rising. This is the planetary ruler for your sign. She's going to head backwards and bring the past to the present. So you need to definitely pay attention. It is a big deal for you. And the next thing I want to say is, if you're an Aries or a Pisces, this is important. The reason I'm calling the course Liberate, for example, is Venus gets kind of wedged between the North Node of Fate and Saturn. And we saw that in the mid 1800s, and we haven't seen it since. And she does 3 of these enclosures between these planets. It can be considered a malefic enclosure, but then she breaks free of these enclosures, and things like peace, harmony, love, wealth, desires being fulfilled can break free in our lives as she breaks free But sometimes a malefic enclosure is also sturdy. Like, in other words, Saturn is making her make the dreams real and get some visions down that are going to work for you in the long range, sort of the realistic, sober-minded guardrail of Saturn. And then the North Node expanding it, and Neptune, the vision and dreams. And so there's two ways these enclosures work. But we have an enclosure the first week of April, and we have the enclosure around the 23rd, 24th of April. And it's all dovetailing with the retrograde motion of Venus. So you want to definitely be checking this out with me and learning how to use these enclosures constructively. So let's talk about, if you're a Venus, if you're an Aries, or you're a Pisces, her retrograde motion goes through both Pisces and Aries. And so both of you signs are going to feel this as a very important and critical time. And you would have felt the same way in like March, say February, March, and April of 2000 and pre-shadow period, February, the retrograde March into April. It's a very exactly similar path that she's taking now as she did back in 2017. And the star point in 2017 also in the early degrees of Aries, and same in 2009. Again, February, March, April, May of 2009. So every 8 years, Venus goes into a retrograde into the heart of the sun, and literally becomes invisible and then bursts herself again as an evening star or a morning star. We'll get into that in a minute. And so these cycles continually show up in our lives. And you do want to go back, therefore, to 2017, 2009, 2001. Every 8 years behind us, and make some comparisons, because astrology, guys, is pattern recognition. Did I even say hi? My name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac, whole sign houses. And of course, I love those fixed stars and minor asteroids. But I want to say that we often lose track of that. In modern astrology, we kind of go, oh, look at this is happening in the sky today. Venus is conjunct Jupiter. Okay, well, that's a synodic cycle and it has meaning, and you can compare it to the past. So it's a very important thing to understand that you use astrology, hopefully, to navigate your life, to time your best life by looking at patterns that repeat and using them constructively and proactively, because you now understand that this is a cyclical and repeating energy. So every 4 years, Venus comes into the heart of the sun. Every 8 years, she does it from retrogradation. Okay, so keep that in mind. So yes, of course, if you add 4 years to 2017, in 2021 spring, she co-joined the sun from a direct motion conjunction. That's completely different energetic, but keep the big cycle in mind. Now, in 2037, Venus will no longer be co-joining the sun in the sign of Aries. She will begin to co-join in the place of her exaltation, Pisces. Therefore, we're coming into this new energy that we have been in an energy since 1929, where Venus, Sun, Venus, Sun, Venus, Sun every 4 years since 1929, the Great Crash and the Great, 1929 Great Depression crash. Venus co-joined the Sun in Aries, starting in 1929 and completing in 2037. Let's do the math together. She's going to co-join 4 more times. So co-joining in 2025 with the sun in Aries, 2029 from direct motion, 25, 29, 30, 29, 2033, add 4, 33, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2037. So every 4 years, in the spring, around this time, March in the spring and March, April, she will co-join with the sun, and then she's done. Now, Venus exalts herself in Pisces, and it could indicate a time for humanity that will run approximately 100 years, where things are going to completely change, where we're going to see a new energy, and it definitely can look like peace, spiritual revolution, higher love, charity, nobody suffering, no homelessness, no refugees, everybody kind of coming into a new state of harmony. There's something good that wants to happen when Venus begins that cycle. Now, it's a pattern that has happened before in the 1800s, and we had a kind of a heyday of art and looms and weaving and dyes and a whole bunch of cool stuff that happened. Neptune and Venus now back in the 1800s doing this dance. So we're going to say that it's not entirely unusual that we've gone through this as humanity, but it's I'm looking forward to it. I hope I'll be here to live through the Venus exaltations. I'm already 62. No, I haven't had plastic surgery. I got good lighting, a bit of makeup, and probably a bit of a filter on this camera. Now, let's get going and look at your sign. If you want world astrology, I'm now dropping What in the World Wednesdays to cover world events astrologically. Now, that video is not doing great in my algorithm. So go like it up, love it up, because I have a hard time finding out where to meet the balance with you guys, right? Because I love world astrology and I often like start my all signs videos with it. But then I realized, a lot of people don't and I get complaints. So then I was like parking the stuff on Wednesdays. But the only saving grace is, like, for instance, my last video is Trump safe. If predictions hold true and he isn't safe once again from a harm's way, then at least maybe it'll go back and be a hit after people found out. At least I said it on the record, right? But my problem with this channel is the engine or the driver is the all signs. It takes me a lot of work to do that. And I really love the world astrology. So if you do like world astrology, please go check out my playlist called What in the World Wednesdays. Just hit a like button, give it a bit of love. Thank you. I've got 2 subscribers off of that video at 15,000 views. I'm recording on February 13th, the day after it dropped. This is a Thursday. And guys, that's low for me. Okay. So, and the people are so crazily, I'm not political about US politics. I live in Canada. Okay. Just stop already. Stop. All right. I'm just giving you the astrology, not my personal opinion. I have an opinion, but I'm giving you the astrology. Okay. So shall we go on to the all signs? And before I do that, quick sharing, only because it's a Venus topic. These are bracelets that I love. This is peridot. This is moonstone. This is hematite. These beautiful bracelets. And I've got another set on the order coming in from them soon. I love it. Otter Spirit Jewelry. These are AAA gemstones, and they're that astrological selections, which is why we're on brand. Hematite. That's one of the things on my arm. Did I say hematite? I remain unshaken during challenging times. Look at that. See how beautiful that is? They come in pretty boxes and little felt pouches. They're great for gift giving. That's for Aries, Scorpio, Cap, and Leo's protection and balance. This is the moonstone that I'm wearing. I'm guided by grace. And I love it. Cancer, Libra, Virgo, Scorpio energies. That's my 10th house Scorpio. That's why I'm wearing it. Third eye crown, intuition. That's my career. And I love the aventurine. It's such a pretty color, right? Such a pretty color. And my world is filled with abundance, prosperity, and it's for Aries, Leo, Virgo, Cancer, and it's the heart chakra. So bottom line, if you like this kind of astrologically correlated jewelry, I share this because I love their jewelry, not because it makes me a lot of money. It actually doesn't, because it's low ticket item. When you buy it, I get a small affiliate fee, but hardly anything. The link to Otter Spirit Jewelry is in the description box below, and I have a discount code for 20% off any jewelry you order for them, and that code is in the description box too. Go check them out. And the Otter Spirit, because they help otters in the wild. So they also have a humanitarian percentage of their stuff going to support wildlife. Can't make this stuff up. It's all good. All right, let me show you the chart, and we're going to take you into the sky, and we're going to talk about Venus and her retrograde, and we're going to bring it up for your sign. Just before I show you the sky, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a screenshotable that I created that might help you keep track of the Venus story and therefore, be on top of it, even if you're not taking my class, which I hope you do. It's quite affordable. I mean, given you're going to have 6 weeks with me live and Q&As and, a Facebook group and all kinds of fun stuff. I'm doing this because I want to enjoy the ride, and it's kind of a nice time to do it with other people. So let me just grab that diagram that I have made for you guys so you can copy it. There we have it. I'm going to share it now that I've got it back on my back end of my screen. All right, here we have Venus retrograde. All right, 2025. The January 28th was when she headed into the 24 degrees of Pisces. And that's called her pre-shadow because it is going to be where on April 12th, she will station direct at 24 Pisces after having backtracked from Aries. So in other words, things that began to occur in our life around January 28th, right, onward are going to be importantly a part of her narrative. So already as I record this for you on February 13th, my Patreon community gets this early access ad free. As I record this for you, you can actually tell here that Venus is already telling stories that she's going to have to go back and rethink in our love life, in our money life, our values, and peace in the Middle East, peace in Ukraine, Russia. So she's going through this part of our sky collectively, trying to do peace in a forced way. Now, forced because it's Aries, right? She's Xena Warrior Princess. She's got her Laura Tomb Raider vibe. She's got her strapping on her, her guns on her gunslinging side. She's a cowgirl. And so Aries is putting her in more of a dominating masculine Martian mindset where she's not always comfortable. And so, for example, the United States administration and its approach towards the situation in GAZA. I'm not going to pollute this video with flag words. And, maybe that's looking like a strong arm energy, the way it's going through with the Trump administration. This is what we're going to do. We're just going to take the land. Now, that's happening as Venus is, in the pre-retrograde shadow, and she is in the sign of Aries, right? She's already there. Not on the 28th. She was at Pisces. But now as I do this recording, Venus is indeed in the sign of Aries. And in a lot of ways, this is going to indicate for all of us that Venus is going to be acting like a guy, kind of really going for it. I think it was around February the 4th, she entered Aries. And so, so we've got that vibe for how peace can look, but now know that everything that's happening regarding Russia, Ukraine, or Gaza, or any other thing to do with peace or love in your own life, your love life, your relationship life, it has a kind of not necessarily a false start, but a need for it to be readdressed later. Okay, so like if you're in the middle of separating out from someone you love, Venus is in charge in Aries for you fighting for what you want. Or if you're in the middle of getting together with someone, there's a lot of excitement and passion, but romantically. But what you need to understand is Venus is coming back to this same part of the sky that she's in now in Aries, February 4th onward. And also January 28th to February 4th, the part of the sky she traveled when she was in exaltation in Pisces. The hostage exchanges in Gaza began to occur, Israel-Gaza, during her malefic enclosure. So it's not so malefic, is it? Between Saturn and the North Node in Pisces. So when we look at January 28th, through to February 4th and hostage exchange stuff, that's a part of the narrative. Some of you might know of that Donald Trump has said all hell will break loose unless by Saturday at noon, Saturday, February the 15th at noon, there is a return of all the hostages from Hamas. So that's exactly what Venus in Aries is like, dominating, masculine, push and shove forward towards peace solutions. All right, next we can say March the 1st, she stations retrograde at 10 Aries. Do you have a planet at 10 Aries, or do you have your ascendant sun and moon at 10 Aries? This is very important to you. Mostly if your ascendant is here, your sun is here, or your moon is here, it's going to be felt very strongly. When I get to the all signs, I'll explain what the sun, moon, and rising mean in your chart. But just know that if you have sun, moon, or rising at 10 Aries within 3 degrees, maybe between 7 and 13 degrees of Aries, it's feeling very intense for you. As she goes back, you go back. I have my moon at 8 Aries. I'll be feeling this as this goes backwards over my moon and ask me to readdress something to do with the Aries part of my chart. I'm an Aquarius rising, so it's my 3rd house. Things to do with writing, teaching, speaking, learning. Now, traveling. April the 12th, Venus will station direct. Now she's ready to go back forward again over, old ground that she's traveled backwards all over already. Like, look, Venus is stationing direct at 24 Pisces. This means, of course, that she was back at 24 Pisces January 28th. So it took her this long, from March the 1st to April 12th to get back to where she was back in January. So you see how this part of the sky means things that you've been doing January 28th through to March 1st. You have to go back and reassess March 1st to April 12th in love and money. We'll talk about that when we get to your sign. We'll be very specific about it. And finally, she enters what we call the post-retrograde shadow, which happens to be at 10 degrees of Aries. That's because it was 10 degrees of Aries that she stationed retrograde. So you can basically say that all of her action is happening between 24 degrees of Pisces and 10 degrees of Aries. If you have any random planet there, like Jupiter or Saturn, fine. Yes, that's an astrological course. I'm not going to just say if you have Saturn getting crossed over, yada, yada. You want to come to my Venus class, I'll be talking about what to do when planets are in this zone of 24 Pisces to 10 Aries, because those planets are getting activated 3 times by Venus, direct, retrograde, and direct. And that planet is a game changer in your chart. So yes, I will teach that in the Venus retrograde class, but I can't do that here. It's just too much work. All right, this is not a teaching video as much as it's hopefully an educational what to do with this sky. Let's take a look at the heavens. Let's go look at what's going on. I told you the asteroid Isis, which is the Nile River goddess flooding the Nile River, also who saved her husband Osiris, who was chopped into pieces, and she put him back together like Humpty Dumpty or Frankenstein. So we can definitely see the Isis piece right here. Isis is around, this is March the 1st, the day of the retrograde station. Isis is at 4 degrees of Aries. Venus will be engaging with Isis during her retrograde. And I find this just a fascinating story. There is Boris Cece, a fictional character from Kurt Vonnegut, also engaged. There's also other asteroids involved. There's Pholos, Poseidon, and a whole bunch of other babes in there. And in my class, I'll be teaching you about how to consider what those asteroids might mean as she touches base with them during her retrograde, either by conjunction or sometimes square. I'm looking at the squares to some other asteroids as well. There's a domino effect with Pholos. The asteroid Pholos means something will snowball in our lives out of this Venus retrograde individually. So again, check out my class. It might be the best way to get the details on that. Now, here we go. We're going to start with Aries. Obviously, we always do, but it's actually even more appropriate to start with Aries today. And I want you to listen for your sun sign if you're thinking about career and purpose matters. Your moon can be about home and emotional temperament, how you feel about the sky. But the ascendant is the character in the simulation. So if you were in a simulation, or if you're playing a video game and you need to pick a character before you start the game, that's your rising sign. It's the identity you play in this world, your how you look to others, your character, their temperament. It's the garb that you're wearing. The character is like if you're an actress, it's your sun playing a character role, the ascendant. If you're a soul, it's your sun with a purpose and meaning of being in this incarnation, playing a ascendant role. The moon is also connected to one's body sometimes and matters to do with the life force energy that animates it. So it's kind of an interesting cosmology, sun, moon, and rising. You'll usually find that your sun and rising are the most accurate to listen to. This moon is more about the fated karmic circumstances of your life. Sometimes it's how you feel about things. So listen for all 3. Over time, you'll begin to see where you're operating from. I tend to find my sun sign is very accurate because I'm also operating from my deepest essence lately, and I'm not just running on fumes. Being the character without assessing what's underneath my character. So that's a spiritual awakening process. If you're just running on the character, then good luck, because there's a lot of depth in the solar energy as well. All right, let's go through this. This is not a long video because as Venus begins to do several things like station retrograde and turn around, of course, I will be talking about that. So I don't want to I'll be doing it as it comes up. But let's give the overall lay of the land that Venus will be retrograde from March the 1st to April the 12th. And that's the story of the sky for each of your signs that I will be covering right now. Now, just before I do that, I am going to grab just a smidgen of chocolate and you won't even know it. And I'll be right back. I also just want to mention something. I want you to think of something in a specific way. And that is Venus is going to be in either Pisces or Aries all the way through till June the 6th. I mean, that's going to put a lot of weight on your Pisces sky and your Aries sky. And that's because on March the 27th, as she's retrograding, right, as she's going backwards from March 1st, she's going March 1st to March the 27th, backwards in the sign of Aries. But then on the 27th, she slips into Pisces. And she'll be in Pisces, retrograde and then direct, turning around at 24 degrees. She'll be there from March the 27th through until May the 1st in Pisces. And then May the 1st to June the 6th, she'll be in Aries. So we get basically almost halfway through this year with Venus basically spending a hell of a lot of time in Pisces and in Aries. And that's going to weight those two houses in your chart as it did in 2017, as it did in 2009, as it did in 2001, as she spends such an extraordinary amount of her attention in this part of your sky. Let's go ahead and bring up the chart again, because I deviated as I was taking a chocolate break, and I thought I better let you guys know about the long-term consequences of this narrative. Let's go back to Aries. All right. Now I'm going to get rid of the ascendant. We don't need it. We're not doing a person's chart. So let's make it simple. I'll put Juno in and I'll put Vesta just for fun. And then we'll get rolling here just because they are relational asteroids. And I am not seeing what you guys are seeing. I know it's here, but when I deviate away, I lose the picture. So you see it. I don't see it, but I know it's there. All right. Gotcha. So let's get rolling here. All right. So we'll be talking a lot about Juno for long-term relationships as well during this class that I'm teaching, and committed love. Now, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Venus is definitely important for you, as she was in 2017, as she was in 2009. She is in a retrograde motion in the sky in March 1st all the way through until the 12th of April. And she's going to go back over old ground that you covered starting January the 28th, connected to your sense of identity, your sense of self. If it's your sun, it's your career. If it's your moon, it's your emotions, your home. It matters to do with your home. And if it's your rising, it's anything about your whole character in the game of life. And you're going to reconsider things here. You're going to recalibrate around yourself, your identity, what it is you want in your life, who you want to be and become. And it's the I am energy. It's your sign. So I am what? I am beautiful. I'm rich. I'm loving. Am I lovable? I am. Pick your I ams, because you're in a big reconsideration of who you think you are and who you are to be in the world. Relative to your sun, your career, your moon, where you live, and your nest, and your emotional comportment, and of course your ascendant, anything about your life. And particularly for you rising sign Aries, it's going to impact how you look at love and long-term relationship, as Venus in the first house inspects your seventh house of committed love and is trying to make some decisions about it. Having her retrograde in the first house can be many things. One, you might go back to an old relationship. It might return from the dead, or you might consider the existing relationship from the lens of your own history of love and love relationships, and how this relationship wants to be shifted relative to the past. As Venus also will retrograde into the sign of Pisces starting on the 27th of the month of March, and be in that part of your sky until May the 1st, there's a huge energy that you're focused on when it comes to your spiritual life. Venus is exalting your 12th house. She's giving you super strengths of spiritual depth, spiritual awareness, spiritual understanding. You know, your alone time, your solitude, and your contemplation become exquisitely important. Your bed pleasures and things you do alone home in your solitude become extremely important. And also the 12th house has a meaning to do with the underprivileged and the underserved. And you might become very charitable in helping people who need your help and offering up support to those who are disadvantaged or in trouble in some way. Venus can also take you to extended travel to foreign lands and places that you have been to before, far off distant shores. Even the other side of your own country could count in this one. And so travel can be indicated during her retrograde cycle through your 12th house, March the 27th to May the 1st, when she's turned around and moving back into Aries. Don't forget, she's going to be in Aries until June the 6th. So you've got a lot to consider here. You may find that if you make money internationally with companies that are foreign, or you have online revenue, borderless income, and international revenue because you are, let's say, digitally oriented, then Venus can increase your financial wellness in her exaltation between March the 27th and May the 1st in Pisces. But she's going back over old ground as well. So you might go back to January 28th. What were you initiating in that kind of revenue stream from January 28th, right? Through to about March the 1st, because now she's going back over that stuff to reassess it as well. Lastly, because Venus is going to get enclosed on the first 7 days of April and the 24th of April between the North Node and oh my gosh, I didn't put the North Node in, and Saturn, where's the node of fate? You are definitely looking at some destined circumstances coming through the sky. For you single ones who are looking for love, there is a chance of some destined soulmate kind of love story trying to show up for single Aries during this transit, unlike the 2017 narrative. But you will want to compare yourself nonetheless to events in 2017. For example, with my Aries sun and moon in 2017, I traveled to Bali during this cycle, and I also because there's foreign land travel, made my first ever digital income revenue online by actually giving people the option to pay for an online course I was teaching. And there is a cycle that's back again for me as an Aries to reassess and redo that. Now, North Node energy is amplifying Venus and intensifying her, where Saturn is stabilizing. So something about intensification of worldly success through online digital income, borderless revenue, foreign land travel, new soulmate love, charitability, but also stability. So it's not one or the other, it's both of these things. You could find yourself in an amazing period of financial prosperity. So if that happens, let me know. And I'm going to continue with Taurus. Sorry, my phone rang and I needed to take that call. And we're going to move into the Taurus people next. And don't forget, for you Aries, there's Juno in a whole sign flow from the 9th house. This is good for long-term committed love and book publishing contracts. Long-term committed love from foreign places, foreign lands, or with a foreigner, visas and passports and legal matters. But also Juno up here is supportive of the potential for you to have book publishing deals and contracts or higher educational things as well, or to meet, if you're single, a love of a lifetime and a destined love by traveling to foreign shores and distant places. All right. And we do have that Pluto contact up here. And I'm not going to really delineate this in depth because that's going to be her stationary. That's going to be when she's in the heart of the sun on the 22nd of March, and that's important. So we will cover that on the 22nd of March, but just know that with that support from Pluto, there is for a lot of us Aries folk a chance of an incredible increase of financial prosperity directly connected to the career gains themselves. One more thing for Aries. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, guys. Your beauty, how you look, your facial appearance, your wardrobe. There's a changing energy here. You're going to change your style. You know, if you always wear classic Ralph Lauren, you might go boho. You might get some piercings. You might change your hair color or something. But often when Venus goes through the first house, not only what we value and how good we feel about ourselves is up for grabs, but also our adornments and our beauty and how we decorate ourselves are going to be changing. And this is, of course, true all the way through to the end of this transit in June 6th. So don't consider it a one and done, especially May 1st to June the 6th. Wardrobe, facial appearance, hair, you know, the adornment and the beautification of the Aries are looking for some significant shifts. Okay. Back in 2017, I believe I went to a new hairdresser and I changed my whole hair color and style. All right. Moving into the next part of the sky for the Taurus, sun, moon, and rising, like in 2017, February through to June, and like the same vibe in 2019, something's up. And I didn't really explain to you guys, but it really rolls out for the entirety of the year afterwards, a 10-month cycle after the star point. But we'll cover that on the star point, March 22nd. The energy is at a clear focus in the 12th house. There's a lot of the Aries activation of your deeper soul energy, your past lives, your childhood reflections, your addictions, maybe clearing out some addictions here, especially with Chiron, the wounded one, clearing out ancestral patterns that lead you to be your own worst enemy and self-undo yourself. Venus is a benefic working on the problem. You might find yourself, however, being able to travel extensively to distant shores and far off places. Don't forget, she is in the sign of Aries for a lot of this time. She'll be in Aries from March the 10th to March the 1st. She's retrograding there, but she's going to be March the 1st, start stationing retrograde at 10 degrees of Aries, and she'll be in Aries until March the 27th, but then back in Aries May 1st to June 6th. So you got a lot of this reflective inner work, and your solitude and alone time and your contemplative time will be more important to you than usual. If you're an artist or artistic, you could be working on creative projects behind the scenes here and busy, doing your art or your projects behind the scenes from the regular daily life and its grind. One thing about her movement through your 11th house is that in that inner reflection and deeper dive into your soul, you're able to translate that to financial gains from your career. And a lot of you may find yourself implementing those sort of concoctions in the laboratory of your alone time in how you wish to increase your career success and gains, because Venus will be in her exaltation in your 11th house of the money and the success that derives from the 10th house. When she's here, of course, March 27th, she slips backwards into that part of your sky. Go back to things that were ongoing, like January 28th to February 4th, because January 28th to February 4th is what you might have been working on in your career story. And now she's coming back to reassess, revise, and redo it. Now, friends from the past can show up during this retrograde here, 27th of March to May the 1st in your 11th house. The 11th house is your social networks and your friendship groups, a sibling, one older, possibly these people will come into your life as if from the past. Maybe you've been out of touch with these people and they are returning to you. Communications will return, or you join a group or a club that you used to belong to, and you're coming back, or it's coming back to you. Finally, your kind of wish fulfillment desires for your life. What you desire. This is a Kama house. What you desire is in the 11th house. And so you may be really reassessing some of your long-range goals, dreams, and desires for your life as she retrogrades. And some of the ones that you put on the shelf, the dormant ones, the ones that have been kind of like untended and kind of were getting dusty, you're going to take them off the shelf and dust those older dreams, goals, and desires and really reassess them again. And maybe think that you might want to move in that direction. So there's a lot of reassessing of what you really want in life, March the 27th to May the 1st, as she is retrograde and then direct in the sign of Pisces. And technically, there may be some money coming to you with Juno in the 8th house for legal contracts and moneta from an inheritance. And with Pluto in the house of the father figures, and inheritance money is a narrative that some of you may encounter by June the 6th, when this whole cycle kind of closes out of Aries, when she leaves Aries. Also, any kind of contracts, negotiations, and like bank loans, mortgages, those matters are very highlighted with Juno in the 8th house as well. And you kind of doing a lot of backroom deals and negotiations to accomplish something in that part of your sky. And it could even include the sale of property for some of you, May 1st to June the 6th in particular. Now let's keep on keeping on. All right, let's keep on keeping on. I will say one more thing. Pluto is having transformed your career path and reputation path over the next 19 years. And there will be that star point on the 3rd week of March where she's going to flow to Pluto and bake in a kind of essence of escalation of career power. And some of you may also experience this as an escalation of reputation and social standing to more lofty realms of Pluto, which can be about wealth and power. But yet some of it is happening because you've been doing this inner soul work to clear out the things that have wounded you from your childhood, from your past lives, from your ancestral line, so that you can rise to great accomplishment in reputation and career matters over the next 19 years. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a sky that tells us that Venus will spend forever going in and out of the Pisces 10th house of career and reputation and your 11th house of career gains, but also long range dreams and wishes, and also matters to do with social groups of belonging and friendships and networks of friends and allies and benefactors, those who wish to help you. So having these two houses highly weighted through to like June the 6th matters. It's rare. I want you to go back to 2017, February through to June, same thing in 2009, same thing in 2001. However, this is, of course, much different, is dappled by a different constellation of energies. That's also very rare. With this energy of Venus in your 11th house retrograding starting on March the 1st at 10 degrees of Aries, there's going to be a focus for a lot of Geminis on the career gains themselves. You are looking more squarely at what you want, but you're going back over old career gains ground that you were investigating or thinking about from about February 4th, when Venus was in direct motion through Aries to her retrograde on March the 1st. So it's kind of like February 4th to March the 1st, you were thinking about activating potential goals for your life, long range plans and wishes and dreams, things you want to accomplish in your career. And you were plotting a course there with Venus's help for great success and great wealth if you want. Venus is a wealth goddess. But then she decided to rethink it. Let me rethink that, she says. And she retrogrades, March the 1st through to the 27th. Over that part of the sky, the 11th house. And so you're really kind of reconsidering this matters here. However, of course, people are the 11th house, the sibling one older, friends, allies, and benefactors, social networks and friends from your past. Maybe coming into the present, maybe suddenly appearing out of the blue. You haven't talked to that person in years and suddenly they're on the phone or email or texting you. Or someone who's an ally or a benefactor who can be of great assistance to you in life suddenly shows up from the past. It's from the past because she's retrograde. Or it's because you were in contact with a person during her direct motion as well. And that one, again, February 4th to March 1st. But you want to revise, rethink, and redo. When she moves into Pisces again from retrogradation, and that's going to be on March 27th, and she'll be in your Pisces 10th house until May the 1st. You could basically say March 27th to May the 1st, it's all about that career space. And she exalts you up there. And certainly the first week of April, you might be working really hard because she's in between the Saturn North Node, but that might be a time of great accomplishment and great success because you've got the structure and form and discipline, Saturn, to expand your worldly success in that first week of April and also around the 24th of April. All said and done, though, she's exalting you in the career space. Understand, though, that as she retrogrades here on March the 27th, she's going back over old ground that she was preoccupied with January 28th to February the 1st or so. So pay attention to energy that reminds you of that time frame. All said and done, having her up here March 27th to May the 1st is nothing short of a lovely expansion of attention. She could be the diva. You might be on podcasts. You might get a raise, a promotion. You might be elevated in stature in your reputation and career. You can be elevated in any stature. You're going to be engaged. You got Juno in the house of marriage. You're going to get married. You're setting the wedding day. You're announcing it to the world. These are things that Geminis may encounter as Venus enters and spends a long time in that 10th house. Again, March 27th to May the 1st. And then May the 1st to June 6th, she's back in your 11th house now, full steam ahead. Great career gains are here. Great social settings, maybe celebrity, maybe an expansion of your social groups, maybe allies and benefactors who want to help you. Is a really good vibe. You might want to go back to how it felt 2017, 2001, when she was in retrograde motion into the heart of the sun and the Aries part of your sky. Ultimately, I'll be doing video on the Venus star point itself, so stay tuned for that. We're going to explain how that works in our lives. This is just the overview for a very exciting Venus retrograde time. Don't forget, I announced in the beginning, you might want to join my Venus retrograde 6-week class. It's in the description box. It's affordable. It's got a Facebook group, 3 Q&As with me, and I'm going to guide everybody through the 6 weeks and watch what Venus is doing in the sky every single week for 6 weeks. And we're going to go through this exciting journey together. There's even a collage party. Okay. Vision board, whatever you want to call it. And Pluto, wow, like you're really moving into a dharmic alignment. Pluto sextiling Venus, work gains and goals and dreams aligning with deepest purpose and truest calling is a big theme for a lot of the Geminis here. All right, let's go Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. It looks to me like you've got this big 10th house, 9th house focus as you did in 2017, as you did in 2009 and 2001. Venus is really trying to help you with your career and alignment with deepest dharmic purpose. Both in the ninth house, which is about that dharmic alignment, and your 10th house are lit up in the sky. No complaints, because if you could get that chironic wound in the house of reputation and career healed, you'd be completely on purpose in your work. And that's one of the sky stories for a lot of Cancers. And if you're in the book publishing industry, of course, that's your ninth house, and there's lots of success you can have in breakthroughs in publications, book publishing, etc. Let's go into the smaller narrative here. March 1st to April 12th, she is retrograde. You want to take the retrograde journey class with me, please check it out in my description box below. There's a sale price until February 22nd. And all the curriculum details are in the links below. It's affordable and it's 6 weeks long. And it's live. But anyway, having this energy of your 10th house waking up, so to speak, is important. You know, she entered here on February 4th and she turns around on March the 1st at 10 Aries. There's a story up here that wants you to really investigate it. You think you're going forward in the career path, you know what you want, and then suddenly she turns around, you know, March the 1st, goes, oh, that stuff we've been thinking about since February 4th in our career, we need to reassess it. On the other hand, looking for a job, looking for work, anytime Venus is retrograde in our 10th house, and she'll be up there retrograde March 1st through to March 27th. That's where she's retrograde in Aries. This is always like, oh, I just heard back from my former colleague, my boss, my director, somebody from the past in the work sphere. Returns back from the past. And sometimes it looks like new job opportunities, but from past relationships in work settings can emerge for any of you looking for that kind of outcome. You otherwise could really go backwards over some old ground in your career to really ask yourself what you value, like what's worth your energy, time, and dedication, because that chironic wound is begging for healing. Isis will be up there flooding the Nile River for you and giving you a huge amount of fertility in your career during this retrograde. The Pisces part of your sky is trickier because it's faith and it's religious belief and your spiritual comportment in life and what you wish to attain in higher education and learning, foreign lands and travel, legal and court matters. Certainly, benefic Venus can help you win in the court, get that passport, travel abroad. She can help you get your highest educational goals met here, especially at universities. So she is an ally here for you. And especially, by the way, let's go back. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. So if you're thinking of education, study, learning, traveling, good. This is wonderful support from Venus. The North Node is destiny, Saturn. Malefic enclosure can also be how you can really structure something that you really want to happen to regarding publications, book publishing, travel, educational matters during the first week of April and the 24th of April. But one thing I will say, March the 27th to May 1st, as she's up in your ninth house, right? Pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to your inner prompting. You've got like Jupiter in the 12th house, and there's a kind of vibe here that some of you are trying to discover deep truth and wisdom spiritually. And these are spiritual energies 9 and 12. So really lean into that and ask yourself, am I really connecting, you know, in the way I want with my deeper spiritual truth and purpose in life? I think a lot of the metacosmos energy of the 9th house will lead you to deeper spiritual reflections between March the 27th and May the 1st. And then, of course, May the 1st to June 6th, she's back in your career house. All systems go. You know what you value. You know what you want. You're going to grab it. And in fact, she will be flowing to Juno as well, especially May 1st to June the 6th. And there's a sense of what contracts and agreements do you want to make? What kind of job contracts? What kind of work contracts? What kind of agreements do you want to commit to? You'll be really pondering that energy May the 1st to June the 6th. All right. Now, let's move on to the next sign. Let's talk about Leo, sun, moon, and rising. So Venus is in a fire trine to your sign in Aries. So this is very supportive for you as she retrogrades March the 1st to April 12th through both Aries and then later Pisces. Now, the Aries sky is a Dharma house. It's spiritual attainment. It's what you wish to create in alignment with your divine compass, your true north in life, your spiritual philosophy, your religious beliefs are up here. So there's a lot of Venus looking for the value in what you have going on there and looking for the beauty in that. But if you're looking for love as a single Leo, then don't look no further than love on a campus setting or love in a foreign travel place or love with a foreigner. Those are single Leo tips for you during this transit of March the 1st through to the 27th. Because she's retrograding March the 1st to the 27th, she's going back over old ground that she started traveling February 4th. All right, February 4th to March 1st. So February 1st to March 1st, okay? She's like, okay, I think I got this. I got the university application. I got the visa. I got the travel plan set. I got the love in a foreign place or with a foreigner going hot. And then, she's like, let me regress on this thing. And she goes, I'm going back to rethink it, revise it, redo it. So pay attention to that possibility, where she goes backwards, March the 1st to the 27th in Aries. If you have a Leo sun, moon, and rising in the first 13 degrees of Leo, you're really feeling this retrograde quite strongly. It really impacts you more strongly than later degree Leos, but all Leos still feel it. All right. You still feel it. She's benefic. If you're trying to win in a court matter, I think this is a very positive energy for legal contracts, legal court matters in your favor. With Juno in the 5th house of romantic love, I'm going to jump ahead. I want to see at what degree Juno will be in like a couple of months. All right. Give me a sec, guys. Juno. She does a little Scorpio dip and then she goes forward. Okay. So she's going to retrograde back into Scorpio. How far does she get, that good old Juno girl? So she's gonna really languish at the early degrees. So new beginnings, fresh starts. That's the energy of Juno here. And so the reason I'm bringing that up is that there's something about like new beginnings when we see a 0-degree Juno, and she's activating fire trine energy, right? So they're right. I keep saying right, like I'm sorry about that, a bad coach. Okay, so there is a potential for some new beginnings in long-term committed love connected to romance, especially with Pluto in your 7th house, Juno in your 5th house, vibration, Venus in your 9th house, creating kind of a mini grand trine vibration. I think some Leos are looking at powerful transformation in committed and long-term romantic love stories coming through the sky over the course of this March 1st to April 12th retrograde. With Venus up here in your 9th house, becoming a grandparent is a possibility. This is a house of grandchildren. She's a fertility goddess. So for some of you Leos who are old enough to have kids who have kids, becoming a grandparent is a narrative that may emerge during this longer transit. By June the 6th, you might hear about it because she will be back in your Aries 9th house, May 1st to June the 6th. Now, the part of the sky that's Pisces for you, where she travels retrograde March the 27th, and then finally skips out of there in direct motion on May the 1st, indicates that March 27th to May the 1st, you're really focused a lot on the 8th house. This is money that you don't make by your paycheck. It's like inheritance monies, and Saturn, Venus can represent the elder, the grandparent, or the very elder parent. So there is potential chunks of money that you can get, chunky money from that kind of place, or some superior success in securing a mortgage or a bank loan, or arranging some kind of financial success in your investment structures, or winning in the game of the stock market. Don't listen to me, don't gamble because of this content. But she certainly can support those kinds of monies for you. And that's really strong energy there for you all the way from March 27th to May the 1st. Finally, if you want to get deep into the occult mystery, study the tarot, astrology, human design, any of the sort of paranormal, supernatural, and occult matters, Venus is definitely there for you. You might even find yourself diving a lot deeper into this part of the world of the non-ordinary and unreal than you normally would. Okay. North Node here over the next 19 months. So it does increase your chunky money. And some of you Leos are going to get money from another place in your paycheck. And FYI, that include royalty income, that can include spousal separation money, that can include inheritances, etc. So there's a lot of the chunky money she's trying to participate in with the North Node in a way that didn't happen in 2017 or in 2009 or in 2001, because we have a North Node transit accompanying her in your 8th house along with Saturn. You might want to take my Venus retrograde class. It's starting on March the 1st. It ends on April the 12th. It's 6 weeks live with me. Check it out. I'd love to have you. The curriculum in the description box below, all the information you need. Of course, there's replays if you can't make the live class. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. So let's start off with the basics. Venus is definitely moving through the two pieces of the sky that matter to you. I'm in April now, in case you guys have wondered. I just jumped myself ahead. It doesn't really matter what month I'm in, but someone's going to say, I can hear it already in the comments. Well, why are we set for that date? It doesn't matter what date we're on. It really doesn't. Okay. It's because we're talking about a story that's going to run through to June the 6th. Oh my God. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. I am having a hard time suffering the trolls gladly lately. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Now, Venus is going to spend a long time in Aries and a long time in your 7th house, your marriage house. These are Pisces, Aries narratives that run through to June the 6th. There's a lot of focus on shared financial resources with a spouse or a long-term committed love partner. There's a lot of focus on the purchase or buying and selling of property. There's a definite focus on the possibility of a new rental opportunity and property matters, but maybe connected to a significant other or simply connected to contracts and deals and negotiations around rental properties or purchase and sale of property. Big themes running through Virgo skies for quite a while. Now, the tricky part of the story is Venus is going to be malefically enclosed. For example, she was already malefically enclosed like the end of January. And then she's going to do it on the first week of April. And then she's going to do it on the 24th of April. And that could be some duress or difficulty in committed love stories. On the other hand, she might help stabilize it. Could look like promotion. It could look like up levels, like moving in together, buying property together, getting engaged, setting a wedding date. But these themes wouldn't surprise me. You cannot compare this to 2017. You cannot really compare it to 2009 and 2001 because you did not have the North Node of fate in your 7th house activating the story with Venus. So there's something very different going on here. When Venus on March the 1st turns retrograde here in your 8th house of chunky money and stays retrograde in this part of your chart, right, till March 27th, moving through there, money from the past comes to you. Okay, what kind of money? You're waiting for the tax refund, the check, the inheritance money that was held up, something like that. Or money comes to you from the past that you knew was yours to have, but it hadn't actually shown up yet. But it's not a surprise. So chunky money coming at you in that window of time, including commissions and royalty checks, etc., doesn't surprise me. So look for that retrograde to bring that to you. When again, March 1st to the 27th. Now, secret love affairs from the past. Venus could definitely return that secret love affair to you. The person that you were involved with in a secret love affair showing up out of the blue in your life. Phone call, text messages, and emails. It wouldn't surprise me either. But it would have to be someone you had a hidden relationship with. Now, as Venus is going to retrograde on March 27th through to May 1st, through retrograde and turn around, through your 7th house of marriage, the vibe is a lot about making new decisions and turning points in the marriage house. There's shifts here. You go back over old ground, you rethink it. This is ground that you were thinking about traveling over February 4th to the 27th of February 4th to March the 1st, February 4th to March the 1st, what was going on in your long-term committed love relationship. Okay. Just think about what was going on in that tighter window of time. Now she's going back to readdress those things that you were considering, whether it was a deepening of the love, an expansion of the love, a more committed connection, more legal contracts regarding the love relationship. Now you're going to back over old ground in the sky. Certainly, though, one thing I'll say is that if you have a relationship that exists already, Venus is going to help you. She wants the relationship to work. She wants to exalt the relationship. So there's an attempt to make it work. If you have a relationship and Venus is in your seventh house, which she will be, yes, March 27th to May 1st, your partner is exalted. Their life is better. They're doing well. They're having luck. They're experiencing positive developments in their life. If you're single, North Node, exalted Venus, seventh house, you meet the love of a lifetime. Your person is showing up, your twin flame, your soulmate. Here comes the person, March 27th to May the 1st. And May 1st to June 6th, Venus is back in the chunky money house. Now you get the money, spend the money. You get the negotiation, the contract, the deal for the property, the real estate, the rentals. Things are gelling on the financial front, May 1st to June the 6th. To dive a lot deeper into this, Virgo, please consider jumping into my 6-week live course, because it will really help you navigate the sky. It's not exactly like 2017, but you might compare it to like February through to June of 2017 and see similar vibrations here, similar to 2009 in the same time frame, and 2001. But it's that North Node of Fate, Neptune and Venus combination, and Saturn. If you're looking for love, you could meet the love of a lifetime. But if you're single, that's for sure. But if you're with someone, it could take that relationship to the next level. It can expand the spiritual connection, the depth of connection, and really unify the relationship. Now, I'm going to give it one caveat. All the attention to the eighth house can also be the house of divorce settlements. And so therefore, with the North Node expanding your relationship, Saturn has been testing it, giving it the old tire kick, check the engine block, is it cracked? But if you can't pass the test of a North Node Saturn in this part of your sky, and it's going to be exact in the summer, that conjunction, this relationship will fall apart. But Venus is rooting for you, rooting for the relationship to not fall apart, but to extend itself into something greater. This is like the root-bound pot of the relationship must expand. And that includes having children, getting pregnant, making babies together, getting married, getting engaged, moving in, sharing, buying a home, whatever. That's the call of the sky for Virgos. Otherwise, watch out, duck, because this summer with a North Node conjunction to Saturn, I think it's like the third week of July or June, memory serves me, you could find this relationship hitting the wall. So it can go either way, in an extreme way, in a way. You know what I mean? All right, keep it in mind. Singletons, you could be meeting your true flame, twin flame, love of a life. Libra, sun, moon, and rising. Libra, sun, moon, and rising. Let's get rolling. First of all, I think I need a chocolate break, but I'm not going to take it. Yes, I already had one. If you want to take my 6 weeks live course, check the description box below. The curriculum link and the sign up link is in the description box. There's a discount until February 22nd. It's affordable. Learn how to navigate this rare 6-week destined energy North Node, not seen since 1850 cycle in the workhouse for you and in the house of your long-term love. So first of all, let's break it down simply. On March the 1st to the 12th, Venus is retrograde. She starts off the retrograde in your seventh house of legal contracts and commitments, audience and marketplace, significant long-term business and love. Now, if you're single, she'll try to bring you somebody. Yeah, she's like, I got to find you a partner, a romantic love story, someone to be with, the one you're with, or get the one you need, So she's here to try to help that happen. And technically, she's not going to be a one and done, right? So yes, she's retrograding March the first of all, she entered your seventh house on February 4th, right? And then she retrogrades on March 1st in the long-term love house and business partners and audience and marketplace. So what were you doing in that part of your chart, February 4th to March the 1st? What have you been doing? Because then she's going to go back and deepen, revise, and rethink. From March the 1st to the 27th, what you were doing February 4th to March the 1st. Lovers, that long-term committed love partners from your past returning to your now. Common. Those phone calls, texts, and discussions as this person from your past reemerges for you. That's very common. You'll see that likely showing up March the 1st to the 27th while she retrogrades through that seventh house. Now, as she moves into the part of your chart here that represents your work environment and your health matters, your pets and your rental contracts, there's a strong possibility that you're going to find yourself engaged in work matters that are also connected to the past. Why? Because she's retrograding in Pisces, which is a part of your chart, March the 27th, so May 1st. She's not retrograde during all of it. She does turn around April 12th, but she's in that part of your chart, March the 27th to May the 1st, and that correlates to January the 28th. What were you doing January the 28th to February 4th, that tiny little window of time, right? That's the shadow zone. What were you doing? Because whatever you were doing in the work, January 28th to February 4th, or about your health, or about your pets, or about rental and tenancy agreements, you're going to go back and readdress it. So you could have gotten a new job, applied for a job. Now you're going to go back and renegotiate the terms, or maybe your pet situation. You got a breeder on the phone, and now the breeder's calling you to say the puppies are coming soon. It's connection to the time frames returning. With this exaltation, North Node, but some malefic enclosures as well, like the first week of April and April 24th, there's a lot going on with work. Now, you might feel stuck a bit. Like you might find that your work life can feel, especially the first week of April, like a rock and a hard place. You're like, what the heck? But she's trying to exalt your work and health routines and your work environment. And you can look at this time as a raise or a promotion or an extension of success in the work environment. But you might want to quit your job too. She's very highfalutin. She's a diva. Mars is in the 10th house. I want to quit. I want to change my work. Some of you Libras are looking at changing or quitting the work or shifting something in the work and career space. But with exalted Venus having your back, don't sweat it. If you quit one job, probably because another better offer came along. But if so, this is a story that you're considering. It doesn't mean you're going to do anything yet, but I would have you draw your attention to March 27th. To May 1st, because you're making some exalted changes in the work and health matters of your life. And then on May the 1st to June 6th, she's moving back through your 7th house. Now it's all systems go, audience, marketplace, clients, customers, maybe, things to do with your marriage partnership or your business partnerships are all systems go, as Venus brings you a huge amount of success there. Now, Venus is great if you're in the sales industry, because now Venus will glow that up, your client relationship, your sales, etc., looking super sweet, May the 1st to June the 6th. And when she goes through here, she also flows to Juno, really good for online social media, writing projects and marketplace success, also good for travel opportunities and travel connected to committed love stories, May the 1st to June the 6th. And that will be also very sanctioned as well. She's getting a lot of energy from the Juno starting point, that begins to really activate Juno being committed love here when we're in early March, and that echo chamber is there. Now, anything else I want to tell you? What is sitting here for me? Chironic wound in the house of long-term committed love. She's going to heal that. She's working with the eclipse of April 2024. And the energy here is to finally get over your issues when it comes to committed long-term love. And if you are single looking for that love, wonderful. And if you're in a committed relationship, well, then obviously this is going to seal the deal. That committed relationship can either be healed by, ending or beginning, but most likely here beginnings. One thing I'll say, your significant long-term love partner, if you have one, May 1st to June 6th is getting extremely lucky and successful in their life as well. So keep that in mind too. I'll be right back. I need a break. All right, guys, let's get rolling through the rest of the chart, and we will finish this baby up in due time. Don't forget, check out all the things about me in my description box. I've got Patreon community, my Substack, Pluto Chronicles, where you can join for free or upgrade for paid memberships and more. Everything is in the description box under the video. Click the more button and you'll find what I'm talking about. In the meantime, if you're liking this kind of content, like and subscribe. And if you like world astrology, please go and give that last video a little bit of love. My What in the World Wednesday drop. Literally, I got 1 subscriber because I lose 4, I get 2, I lose 4. The world astrology isn't really worth it in terms of the algorithm here for me on YouTube land. So if you do like it, go give it some love. Thank you. All right, moving on to the next sign, which will be, of course, the sign after Libra, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is a story where you are going to find that your Pisces and your Aries sky are all lit up from March the 1st to the 12th at the retrograde Venus story, but even longer through till June the 6th. This is a story that you might want to compare to your life going through like February to June of 2017, or go back further, 2009, or even further, 2001. These are Venus retrograde stories through the sign of Aries and into the sign of Pisces. Venus will retrograde on March the 1st at 10 degrees of Aries. This is going to indicate backtracking in the workhouse. This is your work and work colleagues, employment and employer. If you're an employer, it's your staff. If you're an employee, it's your workspace. And there's a backtracking energy where Venus is going to reassess, revise, or redo, or rethink something between March the 1st and the 27th. Between March the 1st and the 27th, it may be an old job from the past coming back to you, a colleague or employee or employer from the past returning. On the other hand, it also is a house of rental contracts and agreements, and there may be opportunities regarding landlord, leasing, tenant stories coming back from the past, also things to do with animals, pets, and domestic pets. Now, one thing about that March 1st to the 27th retrograde is it's going over ground that was relevant to your narrative on February 4th to March the 1st. So got February 4th to March the 1st, pets, work, tenancies, rentals, colleagues, coworkers, bosses, all that stuff. It's in the sky. You're thinking about it. February 4th to March the 1st. Now you got to go, whoa, wait a minute. Got to go back. Got to rethink something here. That's what Venus is doing. And she will be doing that to March the 27th. Then she'll be sliding backwards into your 5th house of sexuality, romance, fertility, pregnancy, procreation, creation, art and creative projects, entrepreneurial businesses, your own children, if you have them. So as she retrogrades through your 5th house, and she is a goddess of the arts, and this is a house of creativity, the muse is lighting up. You might find that you want to revise a creative artistic project or entrepreneurial endeavor that you were working on already. Because on March the 27th, when she goes into Pisces, she's going back to territory she traveled in a smidgen of time, January 28th to February 4th, when she was in your Pisces sky and enclosed between malefics. So what was going on back then, like January 28th to February the 4th or so? Art, creativity. Did you have a viral hit? My son did. My son is an artist, Scorpio rising, and he one of his biggest ever TikTok hits took off on, he's like a musician, and something took off for him on TikTok back then. So maybe there's a return to that kind of success, or an entrepreneurial endeavor, or a romantic thing. Maybe you went to date somebody, and then if nothing had happened, now they're coming back and saying, let's go on a second date. Whatever. Romantic dating is here as well. Sex is here. Romantic leisure travel is here. You might, go away with somebody romantically during this transit. Why not, right? So that is a vibe that you're feeling March the 27th to May the 1st. And romantic leisure travel is not a bad idea. Venus exalting you can get you pregnant or your partner pregnant March 27th to May the 1st. Keep that in mind as well. With Juno in the 2nd house, Venus is traveling through Aries March 1st to the 27th, and later May 1st to June 6th. I mean, there's a vibe that wants to build towards things to do with work and money success, especially on the first pass, especially March the 1st. All right. To around the 27th, just around that time. Things to do with a new contract or agreement to do with work, but is it connected to your past? An old job coming forward from the past, an old financial opportunity from the past, a rental opportunity from the past, a pet purchase opportunity from the past, and agreements and contracts about that. Maybe a big part of the story, March 21st to 27th, right? Now, Venus has got the North Node of Fate in the house of creativity, fertility, pregnancy, romance. If you're a single Scorpio, the love of a lifetime may come to you, a soulmate, twin flame, destined love, big love stories that last and endure. Yay, you. Or you've been trying to get pregnant and you get pregnant. Or you've been working on a creative project and it takes off in a fated worldly success and destined way. Or your entrepreneurial business finally gets going and all that work suddenly takes off and you're successful. So what I like about the Pisces part of the sky is the rarity. You got to go back to 1850 something to get the North Node Saturn there. It's exquisite. So if you're an artist, go for it. If you're an artist who wants to take off, put your heart and soul into your work. If you're looking for love, here comes your soulmate. If you're wanting to get pregnant, here comes a pregnancy. If you want a leisure romantic trip, it's a trip of a lifetime. It's all in the sky, guys. It's all in the sky. May 1st to June the 6th. Then Venus is back direct motion through your 6th house. This is exquisite for your work. So May 1 to June the 6th, raises, promotions, success at work, starting a new job, maybe getting a go-getter mindset, loving the work loving you, the boss loving you, the colleague, coworker space loving everybody. It's just a vibe, man. But, you can compare this to, what was going on in 2017 in this kind of work, creativity, romance work. For some of you, office romances definitely could emerge off of this storyline as well. But if you go back to 2017, 2009, 2001, and you think February through to like all the way to June, these were repeating narratives. These are similar stories. So try to compare notes in your life to what happened back then. Now, one of the things I would say, last thing I want to say, you might have a natural talent or a gift. You might be like, I'm really good at singing. I'm really good at this. I'm really good at that. Some gift or talent you just acquired by being you. You didn't have to work it. That's a 5th house story. And Venus is exalting that natural ability or talent. And not only is she exalting that natural talent, but she's got structure and form Saturn for success, connected to worldly success and amplification, North Node. That North Node is there until mid 2026. So I'm going to encourage you to really think about if you are gifted or talented in something, particularly creativity, art, performance, entrepreneurial endeavors, this is your chance to really succeed. So when she's here, especially when she's here, Venus, March 27th to May 1st, all systems go, right? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Launch that creative project, launch that book, put that thing into the hands of an agent, whatever, propose to get married, try to get pregnant or your partner pregnant, if that's a plan that you guys have, because that's where the sky's extremely supportive of those themes. Okay. And that's what I've got for you, Scorpios. Don't forget, I have a live Venus class at 6 weeks long. And if you want to come journey through this mysterious Pisces story that's once in a lifetime, come aboard my class and join in. Like, it's affordable. The early bird discount ends on February the 22nd. So you want to catch the wave. Let's move on. And we start March the 1st. So if you are a fiery Sag, this is a lot of love from Venus and a fire trine towards you from Aries during this retrograde cycle that starts March 1st to April 12th. You had a vibe of this thing back in 2017, 2009, 2001, again, February through to June, where there was a lot of Venus, Aries, Venus, Pisces weight to the sky. So you might compare notes, but there's a lot going on about expanding and increasing your success when it comes to romantic and sexual love. And you might go back and travel through time to see what was happening in 2017, for example. Did you meet a partner? Did you get involved in a new love story? Of course, it's a bookend, isn't it? Because now here we are 8 years later. And if that love story is still here, is it going to continue or will it change? Because Jupiter, for some Sages in your 7th house, can indicate a kind of like either blessed ending or rebooting of an existing relationship. Now, March the 1st, Venus will retrograde at 10 degrees of Aries. And as she goes backwards through to the 27th of March, those like 27 days or so, she's very strongly connected to themes that were already happening in your life February 4th to March the 27th. So February 4th to March the 27th is being reviewed by Venus. Okay. So February 4th to March the 1st, February 4th to March the 1st. Venus is reviewing things that she was up to in your romance, sex, love, play, fun, play, pleasure, creativity, entrepreneurship. She reviews that same territory again that she was traveling through February 4th to March the 1st. It's under review. Okay, it's under review, March the 1st to the 27th. So you're going back to revise a creative project, to re-engage in the love story, to work on some entrepreneurial project, to tune into your deepest creative talents and abilities in a different way. On March the 27th, she's backtracking into Pisces, and she's covering territory she covered on the 28th of January through until about the 4th of February. So whatever you were doing around home and land and property and real estate, and it includes maybe traveling, North Node Rahu here can indicate far off distant travel to foreign places from home. Whatever you were doing then, right, January 28th to February 4th, now what happens is Venus wants to readdress it from a place of exaltation and take a closer look to improve things or revise things here. So she is going to be exalting your 4th house. This is an ideal time with Mars in their 8th, especially after February 23rd, to buy or sell real estate. Okay. It's a really good time to take money off the table from a family member who's an elder parent, or a grandparent passing away, and the procurement of assets from that person. Not that you're going to make them pass away, but they may. This is also really a good time when Venus exalts your 4th house for enjoyment and pleasure, either in the home, including decorating the home and beautifying the home, right? Or exalted travel away from the home. Now, again, Venus will be here for a long time, March the 27th. She enters your 4th house and doesn't leave until May the 1st, turning direct, of course, on April the 12th. So there's a lot going on down here. You may hear from childhood friends. You may hear from people, you grew up with, your parents, your siblings, people from your childhood, suddenly returning out of the blue, making contact with you during the retrograde phase. Therefore, March the 27th to the 12th of April, these people from the past, from your childhood days, may reemerge for you. There's a Juno vibe. You might want to look at the sky through the lens of commitment and love and partnering with others, and especially in the month of March. And so there's a possibility, if you are a single Sag, of meeting somebody in a far off land, and going into a relationship off of the sky. But if not, then what you may have going on is, should I stay or should I go? And you're really pondering whether an existing long-term love can last. And mostly in March, this is on the agenda, just as Venus is going not only through the house of romantic love, but also then into the house of the home. And so whether romantic love can continue in the home, or the home life with the romantic partner should continue, maybe are some stories you're really deeply diving into. And you could get pregnant with this if you're a female, with Venus in your 5th house, and then eventually the exaltation of your 8th house. There's a lot of energy going on next year. Midsummer, June 9th. There's some fertility stories for Sagittarius who are pregnancy prone, So you could get a pregnancy going, especially May 1st to June the 6th. Or a Sagittarius male with your partner, but fertility issues are here. And if you've been having a hard time with sex, romance, and fertility, creativity, fun, joy, play, and pleasure, chironic wound in your 5th house, Venus wants to heal that wound. Not every relationship is meant to last. And because Jupiter is in the 7th house now direct after retrogradation, between now and June 9th, if a relationship in your life is not going to last, it's going to show up with Venus's blessings as a blessed ending. And finally, winning money, speculation, gambling, lottery tickets, Venus, luck, and money is a story of the 5th house. So possibly May 1st to June 6th, she's in direct motion through your 5th house, could ka-ching you out on some lucky money wins. Just consider that. Of course, in the retrograde cycle too, maybe that could happen, maybe from March the 1st. Due to the 27th as she retrogrades to your fifth house, but that would be from the past. So an old lottery ticket stuck in the sofa under the cushion, you find it and you cash it out and it's a winner or something. That kind of thing could happen here as well. Don't forget, I'm teaching a live Venus retrograde class, 6 weeks with me starting March 1st. We have a private Facebook community. We're going to also have a huge amount of fun. That's the whole point. It's Venus with Q&As every second week, collaging party. And it's really just a fun way to gather together with astro curious people, meet a few people, and learn a bit more deeply how to use this rare event that hasn't happened since 2017. And with the North Node and Neptune and Saturn and Pisces, not since the 1800s. All right. So check that course out in the link below, description box, under the More button. I'll pin it to the top of my comments as well. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. So while Venus is here in your fourth and third house, and this is going to remind you somewhat of 2017, starting like in February through to June. And it could also have similarities to the same time pattern in 2009 and 2001. Venus is trying to make some powerful changes to your home life, where you live. And you've had a chironic wound, Capricorns, about your home and home life. And you've been experiencing that energy since 2019. Some of you know that you don't feel at home in the world. You're outcast. You don't know where you belong. And Venus is going to try to heal it, shift it for you like she did in 2017 through to the end of that calendar year. I know a Capricorn who sold the marital home during that time. I know another Capricorn who separated out from his significant relationship during that time. There's lots of things that happen to do with changes in the home that go back to those time frames. But we have an exquisitely different energy this time around, because as Venus retrogrades into your third house during this March the 1st to April 12th storyline, I'll break it down in a minute. She also moves into the house of travel, where she is exalted with a North Node of fate and destiny, and Saturn and Neptune, like last seen in the 1800s, is so rare. In this regard, let's break it into details. March the 1st, she enters into retrograde at 10 Aries, and this is your fourth house. Certainly, if you're a Capricorn sun, moon, or rising, and like the first 13 degrees of Cap, you probably feel it more strongly. All Caps feel it anyway, but it'll more directly impact you. She retrogrades backwards. So backwards in your fourth house can mean that people from your childhood that you haven't heard from for a long time are now making contact with you. Venus here can also indicate cohabitational relationships from your past coming back and making contact with you. People you've been with in the past reaching out to conversate or talk to you or connect with you again, whether they were just a cohabi relationship or a spouse. Those kinds of people, roommates even, can come back from the past. When? Well, March the 1st to March the 27th. Then March the 27th, Venus slides backwards into your fourth house. And your fourth house is a part of the chart that represents your third house. It represents your travel, your local neighborhood, a sibling one younger, the extended aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. Now, of course, those people, niece, nephews, cousins, and family members and neighbors from the past might also be making contact with you. Phone calls, emails, and text messages coming through. March 27th to April the 12th. Venus will be March 27th through to May 1st in your third house with the exaltation of her amplified by the North Node, except for the first week of April with a malefic enclosure, where it may feel a little bit more challenging, and maybe the 24th of April. The gist is she wants to expand your success, your happiness, and your joy when it comes to online, social media, writing projects, marketing and selling, short distance travel, commuting, and things to do with those people I told you about, the younger sibling, the aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, and cousins, and the neighbors and neighborhood environment. Exalting your neighborhood in a destined way with Saturn could establish you in a new home in a new neighborhood. For Venus in the fourth house brings luck when it comes to real estate, land, and property, as she doth flow to Jupiter in your sixth house, indicating rental property more likely than purchase, but you never know. It could be either. If you are looking for a new relationship because you're single, then I suggest traveling would be good for you between May March the 27th and May the 1st, and you may meet somebody by traveling. On May 1st to June 6th, though, Venus is back in your fourth house, and now it's time to take action. Are you going to decorate a home? Are you going to re-beautify your home? Are you going to find more love in your home? Are you going to prosper in and from your home? May 1st to June the 6th, Venus is going to help you heal the chironic wound because now she's in direct motion. Maybe you've landed a new neighborhood, a new rental property, a new home for yourself. Again, if you go back to 2017, 2009, 2001, and you think about February through to June, these stories played out back then in a similar way. What changes it up is the fated qualities of the North Node in your third house. Finally, if you have a sibling one younger than you, they're getting all that attention from Venus, and they may have some better things happening in their life during the transit of Venus through Pisces. May not even be about you. All right, keep it in mind. Don't forget, I have a Venus retrograde class, 6 weeks long, starts on March the 1st, live calls, 3 live Q&As, a collaging party, a private Facebook group. This live class is extremely affordable for all the time I'm putting into it with you guys, and it's going to be fun. That's the whole point. Venus is a goddess of pleasure and fun. Come join me. Check out the description box under the more button or pinned to the comments. The early bird price ends on the 22nd of February. All right, Aquarius, I am definitely one of you. You know that because I tell you every single damn time that I am one of you. And this sky, what we have going on here is exciting. We're going to experience a very big increase of success in third and second house matters in a way that's extremely remembering of or similar to what happened for us February to June of 2017 and those same timeframes historically go back in time to 2009 and 2001. Every 8 years back through your life, Venus was moving through Aries, Pisces in a similar manner. And it's a really great time for you to kind of activate or move into a kind of increase of success with writing, with communicating, with speaking, with social media, with online world projects, teaching projects, or learning environments. This is where the Aries energy is. It's your third house. Now, when we get to March 1st and she retrogrades at 10 degrees of Aries, she's going to retrograde over ground that she covered already. She traveled here February 4th to March the 1st, and then she went, oh, I need to rethink what I'm doing here. And she's going to go back over old ground. That can mean revising the writing project, revising a course, revising your social media landscape or plans, your website revisions, things like that. Revising your travel plans. Maybe you had travel plans all set to go. And now, March 1st, to March 27th, while she's retrograding in Aries, you want to revise those plans or travel on March the 1st to the 27th to a place you've been before in the past, okay? Or go back and learn more about a course or teach a course you've taught in the past. Now she will slide on March 27th into your second house of earnings where she's exalted along with a North Node expansion. This could also be really good for your facial beauty, your hair, your nose, your teeth, but this is also good for your food style, and it's also good for your money earnings and possessions. And you're going to have an increase here. North Node is voluming up. Venus is the exaltation of this guy, makes it super powerful. And then Saturn is stability and lasting results. So there's a lot of energy, especially that first week of April during the malefic enclosure, where you could solidify your career gains in a very cool way. Now, I say malefic enclosure, but Saturn is a taskmaster. So although the North Node Venus could just willy-nilly expand your financial gain, the Saturn part is important. It brings you back to the time of January 28th to about February the 4th, where Venus was in Pisces with that North Node. What were you doing in the money, earnings, food style, facial appearance, all of that stuff? What were you doing? Because it's back again. Your voice as well. And now you're going to redo it again, March 27th through to May the 1st, right? And with a turnaround on April 12th. Certainly I go April 12th to May the 1st, all systems go for exalted financial situations and also for your facial beauty and also for your food style to be super sweet for you. And during that, for example, that's when I reached 100,000 subscribers, when Venus was exalting my second house between January 28th and February 4th. I think it was February 1st or 2nd. I got my 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So that's an example of the exaltation of the livelihood and earnings of the second house. Okay. So keep it in mind that it's back again on May the 1st to June the 6th. May the 1st to June the 6th, Venus will be moving through the part of the sky in direct motion, again, Aries, that is all about that social media landscape, that travel, neighbors and neighborhoods, sibling one younger than you. Now, did you change your neighborhood in 2017, 2009? Did you exalt in the online world? I'll use me as an example. It was the first time I'd ever made money teaching an online course, which was the spring of 2017. Venus exalting the earnings, expanding my website, expanding my social media presence. So that was the first time I'd ever done that before. I was shocked. I made $4,000 and I was like, wow. And I taught a class and asked for donations only. So really, honestly, this is not a bad place for your writing projects, your social media projects, your travel, your neighbors in your neighborhood to look good on you between May the 1st and June the 6th. And it's a good time for launching a product or a course, as Venus is going to be direct May 1st to June 6th in your third house. Your everyday life, your everyday world, your places you go, the people you see, the neighbors and neighborhood, May 1 to June 6. But if you want to travel, because we do short distance travel in the third house, May 1 to June 6, you can go on travel opportunities that are extremely blessed and very positive. As I said before, when she's retrograde, it's like from the past. So, the retrograde part of the sky, March the 1st to the 27th, hearing from those neighbors, neighborhood things, or traveling to places you've been before. But May 1 to June 6, you can travel anywhere, or you could do anything to do with shorter distance travel and have great pleasure, success, and good things occur in and from that part of your sky. And never last, but never least, and always the best, the mystic poets of the zodiac. Drum roll for the patient Pisces who wait to the end of these videos to get their stories told. So Pisces, it's all about you, but you're exalted in a way you've never experienced before. You haven't experienced this yet. It's first in a lifetime, last in a lifetime. North Node, Venus, Saturn, Neptune, expansion of identity. So for every Pisces listening, get your Florence Scovel Shin, get your Think and Grow Rich, get your As a Man Thinketh, get your Neville Goddard Awakened Imagination books. Get down with it, because Neptune is your imagination. Saturn makes your dreams real. North Node amplifies it. Venus turns it up 1,000-fold. Why am I talking about that? Because Venus is spending a shit ton of time in Pisces. Yes, she is. Pisces is where it's at, but also Aries. Why? Well, let's go back to the retrograde cycle. On March the 1st, she will head retrograde at 10 degrees of the second house of money, earnings, and possessions, facial appearance, food style, what you eat and what you put in your mouth. She loves her pleasures, but she's also a benefic, trying to bring beauty, nose, teeth, face, make yourself more beautiful. But retrograde? Well, March 1st to April 12th, money from the past, earnings opportunities from the past, returning to you. Revising your face based on things from the past. Because Venus was going direct in the money, earnings, face, and food style second house. She was going direct there, all right, before the retrograde. And that would have been February 4th to March the 1st. And then she's like, oopsie daisy, let's go back and retrograde. Let's deepen this. Let's revise this. Let's look at it again. So whatever she's doing here, she's going to make it better by going retrograde. She is a benefic planet. So your plans for making money, especially with Juno at the beginning in March in your 10th house, can look like job opportunities, job contracts, job agreements, and financial agreements around that, or partnering with somebody in money, work, and job stories. Now, when she slides into Pisces on March 27th and will be there till May the 1st, this is extremely important. This is a lot like January 28th to February 4th, when we had Venus at the tail end of Pisces, exalted. What were you doing January 28th to about February 4th? She was with Neptune. She was with the North Node. She was in a closure between the North Node and Saturn. Go back to January 28th to February 4th, especially February 2nd during the enclosure. What were you doing? Because you were up to something. Were you dreaming, plotting world domination? Were you really assessing your life? Were you diving into your spiritual self? What were you doing then? Because that last week of January, beginning of February, what happens is that on the 27th of March, Venus goes back to reinvestigate that material through to April the 12th. March 27th to April the 12th is a redo, revision, and revising of what you were up to in the last week of January. If you're a vampire, then you, in the 1858 timeframe, you live through Venus, North Node, Neptune story, and Saturn here as well. If the 1850s is when this last happened. So you basically are having a first in a lifetime intensity around making your dreams come true with realistic containers and forms and structures, with Venus exalting and North Node expanding and increasing her beneficence. It's really good for your health if you're rising, your career if you're a Pisces sun, your home life if you're a Pisces moon. It's just going to expand everything. And especially in that beautiful direct motion, April 12th to May 1st, where all systems go. You are larger than life. You have never been this large. Venus is, what do you desire? What do you value? You may be assessing your marriage house. South Node, for some of you, might say it's time to let go, time to surrender, trying to release that marriage or long-term committed love or that business partnership or that client relationship, time to let it go. Some of you are going to assess the letting go-ness as an exalted Venus who knows what she wants. She's a diva. She knows what she wants. She knows what she values. You know what you want. If you're single, South Node traveling through the 7th house can bring in destined soulmate love, past life love connections, but you're carrying the energy of Venus. You know what you want. If you're in a marriage, you don't have to let the marriage go, but your focus is on you, not the other person. It's time to get into what you desire, what you need, what you want. You're healing a chironic wound in the house of work, money, earnings, the second house, possessions. You have a chironic wound in your money earnings part of your sky or your facial appearance or your dietary style since 2019. That is healing. On May the 1st to June the 6th, Venus is in direct motion through your second house. This is like what happened in 2017, what happened in 2009, what happened in 2001 in this part of your sky. It's similar, right? Self and money, self and worth, self and earnings, self and food style, self and facial appearance. It's similar, but it's not the same because you got the North Node there, and that's making all of the difference along with Neptune and Saturn. It's so beautiful. So if you want to change your home, if you want to change your relationship, you want to change your career path, these are things that Venus is saying, what do you have? What do you desire? What do you really want to attract to you? Venus attracts to you what you want. So all of you get down with your manifestation, okay? Get down with the books I've already mentioned. Now, what else can I tell you about? With Mars cutting through the 5th house, and it could be blessed endings in romantic relationships. There can be separation from children in a positive way that allows you to find yourself more clearly. Kids go off to school or something, or you detach from a codependent relationship with one of your children. That's another way this could play out. And of course, I'm going to be doing a whole video on the station on March 22nd, but she's going to star point March 22nd at 2 Aries and sextiling Pluto. This can make you very wealthy. This is going to hit you on the money axis. So keep that in mind too. So I encourage you to think about coming to take my Venus retrograde 6-week journey with me. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have a bunch of us together. I got about 50 people enrolled already, or 60. And we're going to get into hanging out once a week for a 90-minute Zoom call. We're going to go through the sky. We're going to outline what's going to come up in the week ahead and how to handle it. We're going to do Q&As every second week. We're going to have a collaging party. We're going to have a Facebook group. We're going to dive into how to understand this Venus transit from the perspective of your chart. So you're learning astrology as well. So come join me on that 6-week journey. It's a super affordable, and the early bird discount rate ends on February 22nd. It's still affordable without it, but you might want to grab it. Check the description box below. Course curriculum link, sign up link, discount code. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Pisces, for being so patient to wait till the very, very, very end. I can't wait to share this journey with you, all the asteroids we have to talk about. Anyone who's watching this video, and it's still before March the 1st, hopefully you are, come join me on that class. And anything else about me in the description box below. I don't have readings open right now. This is February 13th. I'm opening limited spots up in March and April. And after that, I may not do readings again. I know people are disappointed. I'd rather be teaching. I'd rather be writing my book. I'd rather be doing my videos for you here, adding on the readings, as I've done 5,000 or 6,000 readings since 2019, 18. I don't have the bandwidth for all of it anymore. And I still will see clients on my Priority Pass Mondays because I learn from clients what is true and real and actionable in astrology. But I think I'm going to be closing down all of the readings. Priority passes are, you want to see me no matter what. We're going to cover what you need to cover in an hour, but it's not a particular kind of reading. So I'm sorry about that. I just realized I just have to do what Venus tells me to do, which is to love myself enough to give myself some breathing room. Don't forget to check out the Otter Spirit Jewelry. I gave you an intro in the beginning of how amazing this stuff is. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. These guys are amazing. Like as an astrologer, I'm in love with this concept, right? Prosperity, Aries, Leo, Virgo, Cancer, heart chakra, aventurine. My world is filled with abundance. I'm wearing moonstone, aventurine, and hematite. This is a great idea by Otter Spirit Jewelry, and information about them, 20% off if you buy through my link, is in my description box below. Thanks, guys. I'll be doing a lot more Venus videos with sharing of bracelets and stuff because we're covering a lot of this Venus transit that is 2017, 2009, 2020. 2001 rare. Now I'm waiting for my bank to call me and they haven't yet. So I'm going to hang up and wish you the very best. This video is being recorded for my Patreon community on Thursday, February the 13th, and it will go live on Sunday, February the 15th. So that's one of the perks of being in my community on Patreon. For only $5 a month, you get early access ad free and an all tiers Q&A meeting with me every single month. And there's other perks as well, depending on the tier you choose. Thank you. Ciao, ciao. Bye.